What's going on, YouTube? It's Outlaw here, and I wanted to check with you guys. I ruffled a few feathers a couple months ago when I was talking about the icon lineup. So, I wanted to give you my tips to being a mechanic, what I think are good tips. You could take it for what it is. You could talk shit in the comments. I don't really care. But what I'm telling you, these are my tips. Now, my credentials is, not that much. I just got, 3 ASC certifications. I've been doing mechanicking for about 10 years. I've been working on semi-trucks for about 7. I also work on cars on the side. The jobs that I do, range from all kinds of jobs. I don't get too crazy with engine rebuilds because that's like a really time-consuming process. Anyone can do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's impossible to, rebuild or tear a motor down or pull a motor out or anything like that. That's all just basic stuff. But what I like to do is the stuff that makes me, the same day money. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to start a job and then finish it a week later. You know what I'm saying? And have to put in 30 hours on the job and then you're only charging somebody. Say you charge somebody. Say you rebuilt an engine, you charged them $1,000 for labor to rebuild the engine. It's like you're gonna put in a week or two of work on that engine at least. Waiting on parts and all that stuff, and you're just devoting all your time. You could have done, a couple like for me to rebuild a front suspension. I'm charging somebody like on the side. Obviously, this is side hustle shit. Like rebuild a front suspension, like control arms, whatever else, tie rods and all that stuff. I'll just do like 300. So it's like, I could rebuild 3 front suspensions and have enough for a whole rebuild. I could do 3 front suspensions in one day if I had them lined up. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not fathom. If I do a brakes and rotors all the way around and I charge somebody, $100 labor to do brakes and rotors all the way around, I could do that a couple times, a day, like twice in a day, and then do a suspension rebuild, and I'm already halfway to my engine rebuild payday. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't take me 2 weeks to get there. So, um, that's just the way I look at it. If you are rebuilding engines, I'm sure you're charging a shit ton more. I'm sure you're charging all kinds of astronomical money, but to me, it's just not worth it. Um, Especially the engines nowadays. They're putting these little V6s, these tiny V6s, and these tiny 4 cylinders, and these SUVs and these heavy ass cars. Like for instance, the 300 or the Charger that they put the 2.7 in, or they put the freaking they just put the Ecotech in like any SUV. You know what I'm saying, like the Acadias or not the Acadias, but the Terrains and the Equinoxes and everything like that. It's just those engines are not made to pull that much weight. They're not, you know, they're just not gonna last. So they're gonna blow. You're gonna have timing issues, things like that, because the torque and stuff is just not there on those engines. So I digress about that, but that's my like side hustle advice. You know what I'm saying? Is if you're gonna do a side hustle, don't make it a huge job. Don't if it needs too much, if it's a timing job or something like that, and it's gonna be 8 hours of work or whatever else, to get everything, to get the car jacked up and to get all the plates off, and then on top of that, you got to worry about did you seal it right? You got to make sure you use the right stuff, make sure you use the right parts. It's just a lot of a hassle, and then ordering parts and waiting on them and everything like that. You really want to stick with the same day repairs, guys. You don't want to be, trying to stretch your repairs out for all this time, and then you're taking up time, especially if you don't have a shop and you're doing it, out of your garage, or you're doing it out of your driveway. You don't want to be taking up your driveway and having people's cars for all kinds of time, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the people bugging on you and wondering what's going on, why is it taking so long, and or whatever, what's going on with it. They don't understand that you actually have a personal life too. So you just gotta pick and choose your battles, guys. That's my biggest advice to doing a side hustle, is pick and choose your battles with what you're gonna work on. Be choosy. If you don't want to do the job, charge more for it, because that way, if you have to do it, you're at least going to make some money out of it. Don't just shortchange yourself all the time. And then, if it's something easy like some brakes or something you just want to knock out, you're cool with the person. You want to say, oh, I'll do your brakes for, you know, $30, whatever, $20. Like, that's cool and everything. You want to make a quick little $20, but it's like, you know, if they're talking about they want control arms and this and this and that, and it's a setup like a Ford or a Dodge where, you know, they got 3 different control arms on one side, and, you know, it's just a lot of work. You know, that's a can of worms type of situation where you take one thing apart, and then, you know, you have to take other things off to get to it, and then those things are bad now because you done removed them. You know, you don't want to sit there and like back yourself into a corner to where you're just doing shoddy work, and then people are going to talk about you like your work isn't good or something like that. You don't want to do that to yourself. So you got to be choosy about what you're working on. If it's a big job and you don't feel like you want to do it, or you don't feel like you have the space to do it or the time to do it, you know, you're going to have to tell the people, like, you know, go to a shop. And maybe when they go to a shop, they'll see how the shop prices are, and they'll come to you for the next job. You know what I'm saying? They'll see how bad the shop rips people off or charges people a lot of money, and then they'll, because all the overhead and whatnot, I wouldn't say rip people off, but they charge a lot of money because they have a lot of overhead. And it's like, they're gonna realize, wow, man, to do that job that you told me you couldn't do because you didn't have a shop, you know, they charged me, you know, $2,000 or whatever. So yeah, when I knew my brake's done, fuck going to the shop, because they're gonna charge me an arm and a leg. I'll just go to you, you know. So in turn, it's only gonna make you more money to be like that. So that's just my tips and tricks for a side hustle. Another thing too, one last thing, is try not to try not to get your side hustle. Don't let your side hustle take over your real money. I mean, unless it's getting to a point where you're making, you know, a ton of money on the side hustle and you're not making any money what you're doing. Don't let your side hustles, just because you got a couple jobs that week or whatever, don't let that, you know, take over what your actual job is, because I see a lot of people doing that. They're, you know, bringing their side work to work and stuff like that, and working on it at their job, which, I mean, I don't really have a problem with, but it's like, you know, there's situations for everything. You know, if you do that once in a while, it's cool, but you start doing that shit, you know, every day or every week, eventually you're gonna get shit canned, or you're gonna get talked to about it. You know, you're gonna ruin it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna ruin it for the people that their car breaks down, the mechanics their car's fucked up and they got to pull it in the shop and fix it. You're gonna ruin it for them because you're always got a million other people in the shop, you know, fixing their cars for your side hustle. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be, you know, like, think about other people. Don't just always think about yourself. You know, think about, it's a chess game. It's not checkers. You know, you got to think moves ahead. Think about when you get a job or when somebody wants you to look at something, you know, look at it, find out what's wrong, and then, you know, think about chess. Think about, okay, you know, it's going to take me this long to do it. I'm going to need these type of tools, you know what I'm saying? Will I need air? Will I need, you know, the acetylene torch? Am I going to need, you know, a press or whatever? And then go from there, you know? Like, don't just sit there and start, you know, diving into something in the driveway or something, and then realize that you ain't got a press and you need an air hammer and you need this and that and you ain't got it. So now you're like sitting there struggling, and a hour and a half or 2 hour job turns into a 2 day event because you just didn't think ahead, when you could have just, you know, waited till after the shift at work or something and then just brought it in the shop. So anyways, guys, something to think about. I wanted to start pumping out some more videos, so I'm gonna start cranking them out like a mofo. I'm gonna be doing like 3 videos a day for y'all for a minute. So hope you guys like it. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to. My next video I'll be doing on talking about tools to buy when you're a mechanic. So that video will be coming up here in just a second. So holler at me, guys. Like I said, subscribe to my channel. You guys will like the content. It's going to be repair videos. It's going to be reviews. It's going to be all that good shit. And it's going to be all filmed on my phone. I'm not going to go buy any GoPros or cameras or lights or none of that shit. I'm doing this shit straight up, you know, back alley way. I'm doing this shit, you know, the only way I know how. I'm not going to sit there and spend $300 to invest into my YouTube channel. You know, maybe when I get a couple thousand subscribers, we'll talk about it. But for now, you know, this is all going to be real repairs, real deal, Holyfield, from the what do they call it, from the whatever's mouth, you know what I'm saying? It's coming from me. All right, so it's all gonna be real shit, real information. And if I do any work or whatever, I'll put it up just to show y'all how to do it. So, like I said, you might want to subscribe because there's gonna be some hot shit coming. Believe me. This has been Outlaw. Peace out. Later, guys.